Unless you work into a pattern where it specifically states where you need to do your increases or decreases, I usually tend to go for the centre, or if there's going to be a few, I'll spread them out across my work. So to start off, I double crochet as normal until I get to the place where I want to add or reduce. This can alter if you're making, say, a sleeve where you might want to put your increases and decreases at either end, and then you can hide them with the seam. You can also mark off the spot where you want to do your increase or decrease if you don't want to count out every stitch as you're working along. So for instance, if you wanted to increase or decrease on the 5th stitch, you count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you get a stitch marker, something like this, and put it in at that point. So then while you're working, you know once you hit that point, that's where you're doing your alteration. So starting off, you want to do your stitches as normal. So for this one, it's double crochet. So you would just go along to the point where you wanted to add your increase. So if you were doing it on the 5th one, you'd be doing it on this one. So you would do your normal double crochet, and then you're working back into the same hole that you worked in before. So that gives you 2 double crochets in one spot, and then you can just crochet as normal along the rest. So that will give you, roughly in the centre of your work, you can have 2 crochets working into one spot. Now, I'm going to take that out and show you how you will decrease. So going from your chain stitch, you're going to double crochet the first 4, and then you'll be crocheting 2 stitches to make it into one. So to do that, you pull one through, but then you don't follow and complete with this part. You'll put your hook into the next one and pull through again, and then you've got 3 stitches on the hook, and you pull through all 3, and that's turned 2 stitches there into 1 stitch there. So then you'll continue along the rest of your work. And as you can see, you've now decreased there. To do your increases and decreases on the half treble, it's very similar to how I just showed you for the double crochet. So you'll work as normal, doing your first 4 stitches. And then once you get to your 5th one, you're going to work 2 into the same space. So that's your first one, and then back into this space to put your second one, and then work as normal across the rest of your work. So then, if you want to decrease, I'm just going to add another row on top for that. You go up 2 again, and then work your first 4 stitches. And then wrap round as usual, go into your 5th stitch, but then keep these 3 loops on the hook, and then wrap round again, go through the next stitch and keep those on the hook, and then you'll have 5 loops on your hook, and then you pull, you yarn over, and then you pull through all of those stitches. It can be a bit fiddly, but just take care and you'll get through it. So then you carry on as normal all the way across to the end. This last stitch does like to annoy me. So then you can see you've now decreased at that point. Finally, I'm going to increase and decrease on the treble crochet. So for this one, the first one is simple, like the others were. You're doing your treble stitches as normal. And then working into the next loop, you're going to do it twice. So once again, you're working another stitch into the same space. So there you've put 2 stitches into one space, and then work to the end with 1 in each. So now I'm going to work another row and show you how to decrease, but this time I'm going to do a few because this one is a little bit well, it's not difficult, but it's a little bit more complicated than the other one, especially when you're first starting. So that as normal, and do your first. And now I'm going to decrease every alternate stitch, and I'll try and slow this down at some point so that you can see my movements a bit better. I do tend to go a bit faster than I mean to sometimes. So to start your first decrease, you're going into your next stitch, and then when you've got 3 loops on the hook, as usual you pull through 2, but you don't hook to pull through your next 2. You wrap around once more and go into your next stitch and pull through, so then you have 4 loops on your hook. At that point you pull through 2 and then you pull through all 3. So that has reduced 2 treble crochets into 1, if you can see there. So I'm going to do that again. So as you can see, that's pulled that slightly tighter because you've reduced quite a few of the stitches. And I did a few extra on there because, as I say, it's a little bit different to the other decreases that I did on the other stitches. So if you want to rewind it and watch it again, that's fine, and hopefully with it slowed down a bit it will make a bit more sense.